Frugal Force. Once again, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty for another episode of Road Rage, and today this one's quite fitting. This one I want to talk about today is Comicstorian and Comics Explained throwing shade at ComicsGate. It came to light that just recently, I guess, from Comics Explained, not Comics Explained, but Comicstorian, that we're all idiots. Okay? Comicsgaters are idiots. Well, I want to explore this here and talk about this a little bit and what happened here and Twitter back and forth and assess the situation. Before I do, though, if you do like these videos, please be sure to hit like and subscribe and hit that notifications bell. If you really want to help us out, and we'd really appreciate it, go down to that info bar below and go ahead and join the Patreon. You can do that for as little as $1 a month. We do drawings for random giveaways. Doesn't matter what tier you're at, just random giveaways, as long as you're a member of the Patreon. And we also do special Patreon-only content on occasion, or also some of the content I'm going to be throwing up there, too, might be you get it early, like a couple months earlier than everybody else, and I might put it up there later on. But there's exclusive content as well as some things I put there just to share with the Patreon people. As a thank you, also, if you're a member of Patreon, you'll get notified of my videos, because I know for a fact that subscribers, even when they're rocking that bell, they're not always getting notified of the videos. Alright, so with that said, let's get back to the topic at hand. Recently on a video, they threw some shade. Comics Explained and Comicstorian did at the ComicsGate crew. So I want to talk about this. First of all, they're throwing shade like we're idiots. What I ask you is, what have they done for the comics community? What have they done? Or should I say, what have they done positively? Because if you look at it, have they made comic books? No. Have they really did any contributions that make people, oh, I want to buy that? Probably not, because if you go to Comicstorian, are you going to buy the comics because you pretty much get them read to you? And that's what, well, Captain Frugal, you do that. No, not necessarily. You look at my flashback series. I go over some very old issues. Okay, so first of all, I go over key issues in the series of development, and I talk about them and how the impact was as compared to today. I'm not just sitting there reading you the comics dramatically, which, you know, I know it sounds like I'm hitting him hard there. In a way, I am, because that's all he really does. Okay, so what's he really adding? Can you not read? So if you go to Comicstorian, and let's say you listen about a Hulk or a Robin, do you run out and buy those comics? No, because now you've pretty much had the story read to you, so you don't need to go and buy it. So, has he improved sales? Same thing with Comics Explained. Comics Explained, maybe, oh, I haven't read these, let's see what happens, and that's why I understand. And then, boom, you don't need to buy the comics. So have they actually increased comic sales or done anything? Maybe I'm wrong, maybe there is, let me know in the comments if there is, but from what I see, I don't see any real positive impact from these guys. Okay? Alright. So the next thing then, I said they don't do really anything, so let's look at the ComicsGaters. Have they? Oh, wait a minute, yes. They've voiced their opinion of how the market's bad. Well, meanwhile, the whole time while the market's tanking, Comicstorian and Comics Explained are acting like everything's just fine because they've got that sweet Disney movies, and they're probably not even have to buy their comics. They're given to them. They get pre-exclusive information on them so they can do their videos. But so they don't care because they're getting theirs. Meanwhile, the comic industry is tanking, going under. So, and Comicsgaters voiced that concern about the market the Comicsgater community has, saying, hey, this is not what we're wanting. This is not what we want to buy. They've voiced the market. They've proven it by making books that are selling and creating demand and getting new readers back. We cannot say that about the other two, can we? Comics Explained and Comicstorian are probably not adding comic readers, whereas ComicsGate has. So ComicsGate has voiced about the market, trying to increase the things that we love, saying, hey, let's make this something we want again, so that's something people want again. They've created their own books that have had demand. Now, I'm not going to say they're all going to have super high levels of success. They won't. There's going to be hits and misses, just like they are with any of the big industries, too. There's going to be hits and misses. That's just business. But you look, they're shown there's demand. They've created new markets. They've brought back some of the existing market that's left. They voiced an opinion that wasn't getting voiced by anyone else because they're shills that they can't say anything negative because, there'll be problems. And that's what I want to get into next. So they go out, they make rude comments, and then when somebody responds, they try to play victim or joke it off. Like Douglas Ernst said, hey, let's talk about this. So the response from Comicstorian, he must have washed his blue hair out before he made his comment, or purple hair, or whatever color it was, I can't remember, and made a comment about, well, I could find better people to debate in preschool or something. Yeah, ha ha ha, chuckle, which is his way of saying, I'm not going to debate you. And the reason is not because he thinks he's so superior, it's because he knows he's not, for one. Because, I'm sorry, one, the ComicsGater, Doug, he breaks these comics down on different levels and discusses the issues at hand. The other one reads them. He reads them. So Comics Explained and Comicstorian would have to actually develop coherent thoughts and actually back up their crap, which we have never seen them do, ever. Never successfully at all. Okay? So they know they will get beat down. Also, John Malin stepped up. And Comics Explained had the gall to act like, oh, you're using me as a stepping stone. I'm not going to do that. No. John Malin's been in the industry. John Malin produces product. Once again, Comicstorian and Comics Explained read product and tell us about it. Not even objectively like a review. They just tell us what happened in the issue. Once again, where's their own coherent thought? There isn't. Who cannot read a comic book? Think about that. You can pick up one and read it. You don't need those channels. You people watch those channels to not buy the comic book. So when called out, they run away. They throw shade at Comicsgate, call out, they try to act superior and run away. Look, there is no rebuttal they can make because they will lose. Now here's the other thing, okay? So one, they know they're going to lose, but let's look at the other underlying part. Not only do they know they're going to lose subscribers, okay? They don't want to anger any part of the base because they want those numbers and they want their money, and they don't dare want to ever say anything bad against DC or Marvel because the shill would stop. Oh, they just said something bad. They actually said this book sucked. We're not going to give them those books to talk about anymore. We're not going to give them exclusive, interviews with people. That's all it is. And don't get me wrong, that's good business. They got to play neutral and play good for business. I understand that from a business perspective. But here's the kicker right here. If you want to remain neutral or silent on those issues, you need to keep your mouth shut then about other people like Comicsgate. Because if you call them names and things, you have to expect that you're going to have to step up and say why and then defend your position. They won't do that. So if you're not willing to defend your position, you need to keep your mouth shut about it. Because they're trying to have it both ways. We're going to poke shots at these guys, but then we're going to act like, oh, we're just going to ignore it. That's not how it works. Look at Mundane Matt. How's it working out for him when he started opening his mouth and then he got called out and got found out, oh, he's a massive flagger and things. Is this Mundane Matt 2.0? Comics Explained and Comicstorian? It just might be. Talk a big game, but if you're going to talk, you better be willing to back it up. Almost anybody in Comicsgate would probably be willing to sit down with them and say, hey, let's talk this out. But when we tried to talk about it, when John Malin civilly said, well, let's talk about this, Comics Explained decided to use that as a time to do a cheap shot, like he was superior to John Malin. I have a newsflash, Comics Explained. You read comic books. You're told by the companies what's going to happen in comic books. We found that out too. Because remember, there was information that he knew that was never put in the comic book in the past that was brought out later. So he gets told information ahead of time because he's a shill for the company. He's a shill. He's a marketing tool. That's what him and Comicstorian are, and they know that. And that's why they won't engage. He slipped up. Their best move would be, we shouldn't have said that. that was wrong, we apologize, and then move forward. That's what a real man would do. Or a real man, if they're going to say something, they'd put up for it. But once again, business-wise, I understand why they're not. So their best bet is just to say, we screwed up, we shouldn't have said that, that was a dumb mistake, apologize, and move on. That's my thoughts about this situation. What are yours? What do you think about Comicstorian and Comics Explained? You know, and also if you want to throw in a little mundane mundane Matt, and there, feel free to. I thought about covering it, but you know, it's not really as much comic book or game, so I let that one go. If you want to know more about Mundane Matt, check out Yellow Flash's channel. He's really highlighted the hypocrisy of that, which is really shameful. I didn't dislike him. I've actually watched some of his videos, you know, and sometimes I agree with him, sometimes I don't. And to sit there and do that and then turn around and he false flags people, you know, that's really sad. Well, anyway, that's my thoughts, not yours. Let me know yours in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, once again, please be sure to hit like and subscribe. Hit that notifications bell. You probably still won't get notified, so feel free to check out that Patreon. We really could use it. It took a little bit of a dip because, you know, I understand that too. By the way, not everybody can financially afford that. That's one of the reasons we have the $1 a month here, and even not always afford that. I know there is tough times. So I just also want to thank the subscribers, new and old. Even if you aren't giving on Patreon, I thank you all for just even taking the time watching. And until next time, keep it frugal.